When communicating with others, we ultimately hope that our message is clear, persuasive, and engaging, right? So how do we do that? Well, previously, what made you a clear communicator was your access to information, how much information you held for yourself. But today, in the age of information, everyone has access. So the advantage is moving from the access to information to the ability to curate that information. There's just so much information out there. The central ability, therefore, is, can you make sense of this information? Can you separate the signal from the noise? In other words, can you pick out the most important information and share it effectively with your colleagues or teammates? This is a critical skill when working in distributed teams. Because your communication is digitally mediated and time-bound, this means that you are unlikely to meet spontaneously at the coffee machine on a break. So all you have are these structured interactions. Therefore, how we communicate is of the utmost importance. Think of it this way. If your teammates have difficulty understanding you, they will have a hard time not only delivering what you need from them, but also trusting you. Communicating effectively and clearly, therefore, improves efficiency and avoids unnecessary frustrations. Even more important when you are communicating via email or text, asynchronously. In all communication, there are three pieces: the sender, who originates the communication, the message being communicated, and the receiver or receivers of that message. Communication occurs then when one person speaks or writes a message or uses nonverbal body language to convey a message, which is then received by more than one person. So true communication is not necessarily the message that the sender intended to send, nor is it even necessarily the words that the sender used. It is the message as it was understood by the receiver. So therefore, clear communication exists only when the same message that was sent is the same message that was received. Therefore, most often, problems arise when the message sent is not the message received. So how can we proactively avoid this situation? And what do we do when we find ourselves in a miscommunication? So first, how to proactively avoid? 3 steps. First, prepare your message. This means you have to have your message completely clear in your own mind. What are you trying to achieve? What are the key 1 or 2 ideas you're trying to communicate? Prioritize the information for yourself and the receiver of the message. Try to identify any assumptions you may be making or any prejudices that may affect how you view or interpret the message. 2, keep it simple. Don't use unnecessary words. The longer the message, the more likely there will be a miscommunication. Use active language like I need, not it is needed. Provide a structure also. I believe we need to restructure for 3 reasons first, so on. Highlight priorities so that the receiver knows what information is most important. Third, ask open questions or allow space for questions. By allowing time for questions, you can test for any misunderstandings proactively and catch them before too much time passes. In a digital setting where much of the communication is asynchronous, this can be difficult. Specifically, you won't have that live interaction, so the receiver is often left alone with the message until the next day they can reach you. So here you need to clearly signal that there's room for conversation to explain anything that's unclear, or perhaps you even want to encourage questions by asking, what questions do you have? Instead of, let me know if you have any questions. Now, imagine you're in a situation where a miscommunication occurred. What now? Here, you want to remember 3 points. First, you will need to internally process the situation. Therefore, you should explicitly think about how you would like to handle such a situation before it happens. Would you like to clear it up in the group right away, or rather take it after the meeting on a one-on-one? Do you want to start with a question like, could you tell me what you understood from my message? Only when we have a process for ourselves can we react quickly and appropriately to the situation. Second, try to zoom out and analyze the situation like an objective scientist. This can be particularly challenging when we are passionate about the topic or we really believe that we have clearly communicated everything already. Instead, ask yourself, what did I miss? Am I making too many assumptions about the knowledge of the others in the room? Third, slow down the situation. Similar to the preparation step, build in time and space for questions. Bring the others into the conversation and try to work as a unit to solve the miscommunication. So, why is clear communication so important? Well, research has found that the globally distributed teams that lack trust tend to have unpredictable communication patterns, often with just one or two people taking the majority of the communications. But in high trust teams, communications were regular and predictable. The team members contributed more equally and were more conscientious about letting everyone know when they weren't going to be available. So no one was left wondering why somebody hasn't responded to my message. In other words, clear, consistent communication is an important building block for any team.